we're going to, this is for our next assignment. For our next session, we are going to uh, generate this algorithm. Yeah. But I'll start with previous session because I'm going to start to review it a bit. I also, in the Google Drive, uh, I made a copy of our previous assignment in Rhino and Grasshopper. This is what we were going to, right, generate previous week. It is it is two lines uh, for programming, for generating forms. It would be better to, for example, initially think about what we want, what we are going to generate, and then logically we can think, so what rules should we use, what components should we use to um, generate our desirable form. For our first and symbol assignment, we wanted actually two lines that we wanted these two lines to be equally divided, and then I want them to be connected, and I would like it to be algorithmic and parametric. I mean, if I would like to increase or decrease the amount of these divisions. So how can how can I generate this shape and this form with Grasshopper? Uh, so I need two lines. For these two lines, I need points. I need 4 points. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to open a new. I have installed some plugins, so some of them come with some errors. That's why I quickly try to close them. I said it is better that divide our monitor to two parts when we are working with Grasshopper and Rhino, because I want these two areas close to each other, and I can control them easily. Uh, in Rhino, there are 4 viewports. When we double click on, for example, one of these viewports, it will be in full screen. And then also, if you press Ctrl and Tab together, you can change these viewports. In the continue, it will be easier for us to, for example, examine our shape in different viewports, in different views. So that's why I recommend you, for example, learn these shortcuts to be faster. So I'm going to generate this shape. What I'm going to do is um, typing. This is command bar of Rhino. Why this is like this? You cannot see these edges, yeah? It's hidden in. It's not a lot, but okay. Let me. Okay, this is this command bar. For you, maybe it's in the bottom of your Rhino, but for me, uh, actually, its default is on the top, but I would like to to replace it in bottom because it will be the same as AutoCAD. And also, you know that you can import AutoCAD's, so you are familiar with that because it can be easier to change the software to use the same rules that we use in AutoCAD, import them that rules to Rhino to no contradiction between them. So I'm going to make a point. In this comment bar, I type point and then set location of point. For example, 000, it is my first point. And then when I press space, another point, this rule will be repeated, and I can. Now I have 4 points. I want this 4 points to converted to 2 lines. So I have to connect each these 2 points together. What I'm going to do initially, I should reference these points to Grasshopper. For that, if you remember from previous session, when you double click, this is the canvas of Grasshopper. When you double click in canvas, there is enter a search keyword, and then you type point. So there are some initially before go to other parts in display. You can specifically say what this component would you like to see. For example, I turned on all these icons, draw icons. I turned all of them on because it will. It's not. Yeah, because I want. When you see these signs, and for example, it can be for your imagination and for when you are confronting, for example, a very large algorithm. When these icons are displayed, it will be easier for you to distinguish them and control them. So as I have 4 points here, I'm going to control CV 4 times for linking each of these points to these points. When I select them, if you wanted them to be, in a aligned, you can easily use these options to them to be aligned. No, it's not good. And this, yeah. Okay. So I right click on the first one. It says set 1 point. I reference the point on Rhino to Grasshopper. The second one, set 1 point, this one. Set 1 point this. Set 1 point this. So now these points are connected. As you can see, it turned green when you, for example, move these points on Rhino, it's this reference on Grasshopper also will be displaced and misplaced, for example. So they're totally connected to each other. Then I'm going to make lines out of these 4 points. I double click on the canvas and type line. there is two lines. One is create a line between 2 points, and the other one contains a collection of line segments. So the line that we would like to use is this one. Each component has one or multiple inputs and one or multiple outputs. For example, when I drag the mouse and it says that create a line between 2 points, so it easily explains. And then at inputs, it says a start point and end point. So we understand that this component as input needs points. So I understood that I can connect them. And you can see that the line is generated. So when I'm going to again change the point in Rhino, it will be changed. The line also will be changed. I'm going to use again this line for actually this component to generate another line. In order to do this, it's better to select this component, and while you're dragging this component, press Alt, and you can copy this component easily. But now these components, these points are selected to these line component, and I want the other points be connected to my new line component. So I have to disconnect these connections. To do this, in order to do this, I should press Control and then connect this to this. And then again, for example, if I'm going to for example, if I'm going to connect both of these 2 points to just one input, I should press Shift and then connect it. So these two are simultaneously connected. But if I don't press Shift, it will be like this. It will be disconnected. But now I have two lines. It can be changed in every in vertically, horizontally, there's no difference. But both of them are connected to Grasshopper, and the line is always generating. Now for achieving this, I would like to divide these lines equally. For doing that, the component that we use is curve divide. So again, I double click on canvas and type divide curve, and this component will be we will use this component, and the input is curve count, it means number of segments, and kings, it means split segments at kings. That I haven't used that, but for curve I'm going it needs line, so I understand that I can connect this component to this because the output of this component is line, and these components need curve as input, so I can connect them. But for example, I cannot connect point to curve, and it will be in red, and it means um, this object contains two errors. Click on the balloon to see all messages. It really can help you even when you face errors, and it will explain it. But it's really important to consider the inputs and outputs that you connect. So yeah, now it has been divided, but I want to know the count. For count, it means it needs numbers. For numbers, the easiest way that we're going to learn initially is when you double click on canvas and, for example, type your number, for example, 13, the number slider will be again a number slider component will be emerged. So I can use the output of numbers slider is number, so I can connect this to count, which wants numbers. Again, I want this line to be equally divided uh, as like this one. So what to do is, again, I need this the divide curve component again. I can again type it, or I can make a copy of the my previous. So while I'm dragging it, I press Alt and I can copy it. Again, Control and um, the thing that because I want both of these two lines to divide it equally, so I use one number slider. Uh, for example, I can also use another one, but uh, for being equally divided, I should, for example, set them alike. Uh, It depends our algorithm actually. For example, sometimes I don't want to be equally divided. But now for this algorithm, I want to be equally divided, so I use one. It's really important for whenever you're generating an algorithm, it's really better to act as minimal as you can, because it can really decrease the number of errors, and uh, you know understanding the simple and well organized algorithm is really easier than messy ones. So our next step is that uh, in this, for example, we are imagining that we just want this shape. In this, it is said that there are some lines that connected these two divided points. So for connecting them, I should use a simple component of line again. So I'm typing line and use this. So as you can see, this component, the output is points, and in line component, it wants the input of a start point. So I understand that I can easily connect them to each other. As you can see, this wire is double, but this one is not. It's solo. Why do you think it's like this?
It's a parametric relationship. It's
Mm,
like it's dependent on, like there's two, because it's counting the points, but the points can change based on the count.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what there is.
It's a lot of points, and when I drag my mouse, it says exactly what are these points uh, situated in the geometrical space. Uh, because the number of points are more than one, then it becomes like this double because it links a lot of points together. And then I can change the number of the divisions as much as I want. So, for example, if I'm going to reach my desirable result, I'm going to change these points a bit. So we generated what we wanted. In this, is there any problem in this? It's okay.
Mine has a problem where I think the lines are overlapping over each other. Like I think one point. It's
Mm-hmm.
only joining to one point. I don't know.
Uh,
I did the same issue last time, and McDonald's told me to just
Uh-huh.
switch the input for the points.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
As you can see, you have connected to the first point to two out inputs.
Okay.
You should disconnect. You should press Control and you know
Oh, okay. And
uh, try it and let's see if it's
okay, yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this was our first uh, algorithm that we generate. For this session, I also saved in Google Drive. I shared the link with you. And in first session, this is our desirable. In each session, for example, I will prepare an algorithm and a model, and we discuss about that. Um, for this session, I was going to generate uh, 100 circles that they are tangent, and I want these to be parametric because, for example, I'm gonna decrease or increase uh, the radius, but I want always these circles to be tangent. So for this, initially, what I need is copying points. I mean, I need 100 points to then convert it to circle. I mean, use circle component, and then I should kind of connect the radius and these points together to work parametry with each other. So, and it's good to say that you should save as each file, Rhino file and Grasshopper separately. For example, I'm going to save this one. For that, for example, I said one, it's Rhino, and then I save Grasshopper file. Preferably, it is better to this name of save as both for Rhino and Grasshopper be the same to not be so confused. So again, one, but it's Grasshopper. So you can see that these files are opened. You open this and then open this, and they will be connected. There's no need to do anything. So I'm gonna open a new one. It also it is okay if you don't want to open new one because the canvas is really big, you can easily, for example, off it. But because it's our second session, I'm gonna open another one. So initially, I would like to know how to copy copy a point, because for this assignment, for this exercise, we need 100 points to be copied. So initially, I again make a point. Also, there is tools that you can use these two. For example, I can easily select this, or I can type it. And then I locate it in somewhere. I double click on canvas point and set 1 point so they are connected. The component that we use in Grasshopper that works the same as in Rhino as copy is move. So whenever we're going to copy in Grasshopper, we use move. It needs geometry, base geometry, and motion. For motion, for example, I use in the align with X unit, X axis actually, and I connect them together. And for factor, what is it?
I was just reading it, I couldn't see.
Okay. For factor, for example, it said how much do you want it to be moved in x-axis. So again, I can use various ways. Initially, I can again, for example, use the number slider and then connect them. But I don't want one copy. I want multiple copies. For multiple copies, the first way, not the best way, is, for example, we can copy these number sliders and then press shift and connect all of them to this component, and for example change this way. But this is also so manual, it's not automated, and it's not really algorithmic. So what I'm going to do is use panel. Panel is this component here. You can also double click and type panel.
I have a question. When I join the number slider, like they won't connect to the actual shift.
Yeah. You should press shift because because it's going to multiple inputs going to one output. You should press shift and then drag the connect. Yeah. Does it work now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, for example, the other way is using panel. What is panel? Initially, I'm going to copy this. While I'm dragging, I press Alt, and it will copy one. I want it to be, for example, off, so I select all of them, and then select by pressing this. What is that? Scroll. It will be off. Yeah, it's off. It's not. and delete it and use panel. For example, I type 2.45. You shouldn't press enter in panel, because when you press enter, it means in programming environment, when you press enter, it means you are going to add another text or number or what. So you just don't press enter and select out on the canvas. And then when you connect this, it will move 2.5. You can also double click on it and change it. For example, 3. It will change. But again, I want to copy from my point 100 times. It's just one time. What should I do for that? And for that, I'm going to make a copy again from this component. And I'm going to preview off the previous one. Delete it. For this, again, I use panel. Instead of one number, I'm going to use multiple numbers. For example, 1.2, 2.4, 3.6. I want to add 1.2 to the previous number. I connect this panel to the component, but it appears an error. It says that data conversion failed from text to number. So the output of the panel is now recognized as text. It is not yet converted to numbers. What should we do is, on the panel, right click and click multiple data. So now it will appear as numbers that the component can understand what does it mean. In the programming
Mine still is red.
why?
Yeah, mine is red.
It says like empty here on the bottom.
Because you press enter. You shouldn't press enter, because when you press enter, the programming, it thinks that you are going, it's a data and it's empty and it doesn't recognize, so it will be appear. So what you do is you just
That's okay.
yeah, and then click on the canvas. Yeah.
Oh, there.
Got it.
So don't get
I
empty.
fixed it.
That's the same.
Yes.
Yeah, in programming, when you press enter, it says that the computer expects data.
You're saying like another, like if you press like insert is like another space. That's
Enter.
Enter. Yeah. So now I have copied, and you know that in the programming it starts with 0. So I have 5 points. I copied my point 5 times, but it starts from 0 to 4. So consider it always that programming numbers start from 0. So I have now 5 copy of my point, but I want 100, and I cannot manually again calculate myself. It's not parametric, it's not algorithmic. I want series of numbers. So the way I'm going to do that is using another component, series. I double click on the canvas and type series. This is the component of series. It has three inputs. The first is start, one locally defined values, first number in the series. It's just a number. So, and then a step. It means step size for each successive number, and then count a number of values in the series. How many times do you want it to be repeated? For a start point, for example, I use again panel. I type panel, and when I double click on it, then and type 0 and then click on the canvas, just don't press enter. I want the series to start from 0, for example, and about steps as this steps is 1.2 because it's, for example, plus 1.2 plus 1.2.4, 2.4 plus 1.2, 3.0. So I want it has logic. And the logic is that it added 1.2 to the previous number. So I understand that my desirable step is 1.2. Again, I use panel, but in this time I just drag it and press Alt to copy it. And the number is 1.2. And for Kent, is 100. Again, I'm going to use panel to see the result and output of some components. For example, this component, is everything all right?
Over the last ones.
Is
100.
100, yeah. Yeah, because I wanted 100 copies. And or even, for example, I can use a number slider again for a step. For example, please take this into number slider. When you, for example, you want a range in number slider. I want to start it from, for example, 4 and 16. So it generates between 4 and 16. I will do it again. I double click on the canvas. I want a range between, for example, 1 to smaller than. I used smaller than. For example, 4.8. So the number slider that is generated is between 1 and 1.8, and it's automatically recognized that it can be on decimals, for example. So instead of this, I can also use for example, I can change the number slider and the result in the panel. You can simultaneously see that it's changed, which was very difficult if I wanted to calculate them manually. So I put it in 1.2, and it starts from 0 and until 99. So it is 100 copies because it starts 0 to 99. So So I'm going to uh, use the series of numbers that I generated uh, to copy from the point. So what can I do is connect the output of uh, the numbers, the series of numbers that I generated to the factor, because both of them need numbers. So you can see that there are 100 points with, and I don't know if, oh, it was because of this. And again, for example, when I'm going to change points in Rhino, uh, all the data will be changed. I cannot delete this point in a Rhino because I will lose this connection, this reference. But I can hide it. If you don't want, for example, this point in Rhino, you can hide it with this, or just type hide, and in the comment bar it will appear. So I have 100 points which I am generated in Grasshopper. So my first step is to achieve my shape. I want circles. So again, on the canvas, I double click and type circle. No, it's not this circle. The other one. This circle. Yeah. I connected geometry to plane, and the circles are generated. Now I can also define a radius for it. For example, I can use number slider um, and connect them together to see what happened. But as you can see, I want these uh, circles like this shape to be tangent always. But in this algorithms that I have generated, it's not parametric algorithmic enough to generate always a tangent circles. So what should we do for that? To make these circles tangent, how much the radius should be in comparison with the number of radius that the number of actually the distance between 2 points is 1.2, and I want these circles to be tangent. If I, for example, connect this to this will happen. In this case, I'm going to change number slider. The circles and points are increasing and decreasing with each other, but they're not tangent. In my model, they're all tangent. What do you think we should do? What should be the number of radius in comparison with this number slider to be tangent? You know, the space between,
We need like some math here where the radius needs to
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What should we do for that is, yeah, exactly. The number of radius should be divided in two to these circles to be tangent. I just right click in this component, radius, and there is expression. In expression, I type x divided by 2, and I commit changes. So there is a star that in a star it says x divided by 2. So what I have done is that I have that number in the in the output of my circle component. So what I have now is when I'm going to change the radius and numbers that is, and this the distance between these points, all will they are harmonious between them, harmony between them, and they're always tangents. So we have reached our desirable um, shape. And yeah.
I have a question. Where did you connect the number slider to again? Like, you connected it to.
Uh-huh. You know, I let me. This is the number slider. You should press Shift and then connect them to this. I mean,
Oh, okay.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Have you all did it? Yeah. So I again put it the save as of this, and we have now I recorded it for our next session. We're going to generate this. It's quite a long algorithm. So please play a bit with these two our previous assignments to be ready for our next parametric shapes, and that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.